Hi, my name is Steve Gonzer, president and co-founder of Run Smart. Today we're going to talk about how shoes influence how we run and how changing to a low-profile shoe, Vibram 5-finger, or even a racing flat or a neutral shoe that's being pushed through the market now can actually cause detrimental effects to your running and especially put you at an increased risk for Achilles tendinitis. So we'll look at how the foot mechanics change with that lower profile shoe, and we'll show you what most people are running and how that changes when that shoe changes. So this is a good way to show the change in ramp from the heel to the toe. So we can see that there's a higher heel here, and then towards the front of the foot it slopes at a downward angle, and that's really important. So if we kick the shoe out and we bring in what we're going to look and represent the shoe as a heel lift, we're going to find that that's going to change with that heel lift, and when we contact the ground our running mechanics will change. So this is a good way to represent that downward sloping angle from heel to the front of the foot. So we can see that the heel would be elevated here. If we put the foot in the shoe, our heel would be elevated up off the ground and our toes would come down. So it really puts us in this kind of plantar flex state where the toes are pointing down and the heel is elevated. So if we were to do this with nothing there, you can see that the heel's off the ground. Generally our shoe would come in, we'd have a shoe that would support that so we wouldn't have to reach to the ground, and most shoes traditionally have that elevated heel. What happens when we take this away and say we switch to a lower profile shoe that has less of a ramp angle or no angle at all? If we take this away, your heel has to touch the ground. So what happens is the heel drops, and as that heel drops, it puts a lot more stress through the Achilles tendon. So when we're coming in and running, we land, and that shin has to be able to glide over the foot. And when you have that little bit of a lift in here with your normal shoes, you come in, you contact, that gliding forward of the shin over the foot doesn't stretch the Achilles tendon as much. What happens when we take this heel lift away, there's going to be a lot more stretch for you to come over that foot, and it really wrecks the Achilles tendon. So when we transition to a more of a neutral shoe, we need to make sure that we are giving the appropriate amount of time. We're transitioning to that shoe slow enough. If you transition too quickly, which many runners have, they end up getting Achilles tendinitis, and this is the big reason why we need to be careful changing from a traditional shoe to a flatter profile shoe that has less of a heel to toe angle. So here we're looking at the foot coming in contact with the ground without a lift. It's going to contact, the shin glides over the foot, and then we come off to push off. This changes significantly when we come in with the foot now and we contact the ground. If that shoe supports and comes over the foot, we don't have to have as much stretch in that Achilles tendon for push off. So in general, most of your shoes will slant down, and that's important because it changes your foot mechanics when you're inside a shoe. What we're looking at is the sole of a shoe that has a high heel to a low and slopes at a downward angle towards the front of the foot. What actually elevates that heel, so when we're on the ground, our heel isn't directly onto the ground, whereas if we have a racing flat or a lower profiled shoe or a more neutral angle from heel to toe, it actually drops the heel down when the foot's in contact with the ground, which puts more stress to the Achilles tendon.